Welcome back to the Bodhi Bros. I'm John with the J.
And I'm Phoenix Ray.
We're going to do something a little different this week. I know. We said that we were committing to doing the incoming energetic readings once a week until the end of the year. We have not stopped that. However, we have shifted gears and we are doing readings on TikTok now. We felt that with everything that's happening in that particular platform and, our experience and just some combined elements, that we felt called to share that there. So follow us on TikTok. Just go to the Bodhi Bros. You can search for us. We're the only ones. Follow us there. We'd really appreciate it. Today, we just recorded 3 new videos. So we did relationship, we did career and money, and we did a general reading. But since we're not getting a lot of traction, and Ray and ours time, just like yours, is super valuable and important to us all, we wanted to try something that we've done in the past that we liked. Ray, take it away. What is that?
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to do kind of like a spirit talk or a spiritual conversation. We don't know what we're going to talk about. So what we're going to do is we're going to use an oracle card. John has one right now. Wisdom of the Oracle. Nice deck.
Boom.
So what we're going to do is we're going to pick a card. We're not necessarily using it as a reading. We're using it as a way for spirit to tell us as a topic to what to talk about. So whatever comes up, that's going to be our discussion for this video. So we have no idea. So we're just going to give you our insights of what we know from our experiences and stuff that we learned about whatever it is, whatever spirit decides that we need to talk about.
Sure. And since this isn't a time-sensitive thing, as our previous format was, and I'm about to pull a card, if you'd like to take this moment as I clear the deck and connect to my heart to ask a question, right? Or set an intention, even though our intention is to make it a spirit talk, a spirit conversation, you can use this as a 1-card reading, whether you stumble on this video 3 days from now, 3 years from now, whatever. Yeah. I'm about to pull a card. So here we get it go.
All right.
Okay, here we go. It's about to put a pink upon. Ray, do you want to do the honors? You can, let me see. You tell me what? Up near here?
Yeah.
Like this or like this? That's this one? Okay. Okay. Bop.
Deep knowing. Okay.
Card number, what is it? 43. Deep knowing. It looks like a white owl is perched upon a smiley face moon or planet of sorts with another moon or planet in the distance.
Yeah.
Okay. Some stars, some white light shining from above. So as Ray said, we're not going to the book. We might eventually go to the book if our conversation leads us that way. But again, we're being guided by this card, the incoming energies, what's inspiring us, our open hearts, and we'll see what happens.
All right, deep knowing. For me, deep knowing, you could say deep knowing comes from experience, the wisdom of experience, the stuff we've been through. I guess surface level knowledge would be stuff that you read in books, stuff that you're told from other people. But that deep knowing comes from your experiences, that stuff you've gone through. So you carry that wisdom over in your day-to-day life. Hopefully you've learned from your experiences, because if you don't learn from them, we all know they're going to keep coming back until you face or learn whatever needs to be learned. So you take that wisdom with you as that deep learning. So sometimes when you come across an experience, maybe a difficult time, that you feel maybe a little anxiety or a little unsure about, you can rely on that deep knowing that you gain along your path already, that internal wisdom. And sometimes we can access that. A lot of times we access it by being silent through meditation. That's why a lot of the teachers and everything are always like, turn to silence, be quiet, meditate, go somewhere, look within, silence your mind. Because when you silence your mind, that's when that deep knowing, that knowledge can kind of come out, because all that fear and anxiety and all that stuff, it kind of gets in the way. It kind of creates like kind of a cloud. So when you calm your mind, when you silence those clouds dissipate, and then that internal, that deep knowing is able to come through and give you that guidance that you need to know.
So would you say that deep knowing is inherently buried somewhere in all of us? Like, and by that I mean that we can seek out the guidance of others, the inspiration from others, and the company of others to help us learn things, know things, and gain wisdom. But mostly, those teachers, those guides, those spirits are there to just illuminate what's already within us.
Oh yeah, well, there's a difference between a teacher and a guru.
Mm.
The teacher points the way. The guru is the way through that person, through that inner being, that person's inner being. A guru is like a mirror to your divinity within, showing you the essence of who you are. So yeah, but a lot of those teachers too can give you knowledge, and they can, point you in the right direction, and that could definitely help. But you kind of have to kind of combine that.
Right.
You got to combine that from what comes from within,
Right.
because you don't want to be too codependent upon other spiritual teachers and or like that, because then it seems like that can kind of lead some problems, I think, in the long run, if you kind of are always relying upon other people or books. They could help, they could point the way, but ultimately it has to come from that.
Because you're not seeking their truth, you're seeking your inner truth, right? And that's the deep knowing. And maybe like the teachers are signposts along the way to that center of your being that helps you connect with that. And maybe it is by being open to that guidance of sitting in stillness or silence. So the teacher provides that, like, dude, go over there and like sit under that tree and unplug from your devices, like, and that's not the deep knowing. That's kind of like the gentle, push from behind toward the tree to go sit with yourself. Because again, the knowing, that deep knowing, it is open for everyone to know. You don't have to walk the earth for 99 years to finally capture a deep knowing of something. I think the magic of it is a 13-year-old can do it, a 30-year-old can do it. There's no number or amount of experience that you need to connect with that deep knowing, because there's so many levels of deepness to connect with and know. And just when you think you deeply know something, a lot of times, as you and I both know, you're like, all right, I finally know, like, I get it. And then as you stand firmly on the foundation of that new wisdom, it starts to crumble for some reason. You're like, you look down and you're like, oh shit, there's more. There's always more, which is why I have not a problem, but a little resistance to the word guru. And maybe you can shed some light on that. How does one attain this true status of a bona fide guru?
The guru is somebody who who reveals the guru within inside of you.
Okay.
So everybody is the guru. We just don't know that we're the guru, because we have this pain, we have our suffering, we have all this conditioned stuff that we attach to, and we think this is me, the small sense of self. So a guru is someone who reflects that divinity back to you. It's like a mirror. That's what a guru is. A guru is a mirror. It's not somebody who has all this knowledge and all this stuff. So the guru is always there to awaken you to your true self. The guru always points you back inward towards yourself. The guru may use ways to show you that, like Ram Dass did with me. It was like that, and he just reflected that love that was inside me back to me. And it wasn't him loving me; it was him showing me the love that I had inside me back at me.
Right.
So I knew who I was. That I am loving awareness, because I didn't know that what I was. I didn't think I was that.
Right.
I thought I was somebody who had these traumas and problems.
And so only by being in the presence of this particular being and experiencing exactly what you experienced does one know that they are in the midst of the presence of, a true guru. Not because they put it on their website or it's on their business card or whatever, but having that type of experience validates maybe their claim at being a guru.
But you don't always need a guru as an external person.
Okay.
I mean, you could always have a guru. It could be somebody that maybe you attach to, like a religious figure. You could say your higher self, and then you could kind of form a relationship with that being. Like it could be like Jesus, it could be
Right.
Krishna, it could be the Buddha, it could be any
Right.
somebody that you connect with in your heart as that, and you can kind of see that person. You form that devotion, that relationship. That's what the bhakti path is, that devotion to the guru. And you're so everything is the guru. Really, when you awaken, everything is the guru, and
Right.
everything. So you see everything as a sign. Everything is the guru pointing you in that direction of who you are to awaken you.
And then you've enrolled in what I like to call Guru University, because you are everything as well, and you are one with you are the guru. We're all gurus.
Right, you're all the guru.
I mean, like I could put it on my business card, but I don't have any business cards, by the way. But what I'm saying is just be aware that you are a powerful being and a co-creator with everyone, the rest of us, and steer clear from the levels and the I'm better, he's better, I know more, he knows less. We all have a deep knowing. It's a matter of how intimately connected we are to that, and certain people can help us tighten up, if you will. So okay, deep knowing.
You want to see what the book says about it?
Sure, I could.
This is what the book is. I think Brooke kind of.
Yeah. Card 43, right?
Yeah.
So for all you numerologist friends and fans out there, 4 + 3 is 7, or 43, whatever that means to you. All right. The essential meaning is, I can't see, this is why the wise guru Phoenix Ray over here has pointed the way to the book, because we didn't even mention this word once. The essential meanings: intuition.
Yeah.
Listening to the oracle within, empathy, and hypersensitivity. So the book breaks it off into 4 sections. I'm going to let you choose, Bodhi Ray, since you've guided us to the book. We can read the oracle's message. We can read the relationship message, the prosperity message, or the protection message.
How about prosperity?
Okay, let's do that. This is a time when your hunches will pay large dividends if you listen to them. Take the risk and act. And this has been coming up for us lately. Within you, there is an oracular consciousness, like an oracle consciousness. We just talked about that. Your inner guru, right? A higher and deeper knowing that transcends the machinations of the smaller thinking mind. At the deep level of your intuitive senses, you have an access point to the genius of the collective. Ooh, I like that. The energies of all thinkers and creators, all inventors and leaders, and all that you need in order to leap into success are available to tune into. This is an act of listening intently past the busy mind. Your genius or guru awaits.
Yeah, I mean, it's listening, your intuition, being open to synchronicities, being open to signs. Mine a lot is the number 11. I get that a lot. Last year it was 44. So when I see 11, I know, or something, I see 11 come up, that's sort of a confirmation that I'm where I'm supposed to be. Gives me some validation. So yeah, listen, quiet the mind, connect with that inner guru.
Yeah, I walked with, as you know, Phoenix Ray, I walk with a 1-word mantra every year, well, usually for 2 years at a time. Then I switch. This was the first year that it was 2 words. It's thank you. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of reminding myself, like, hey, dude, don't forget you do this thing. And so thank you for this reminder. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, and that's with the guru too, saying thank you, because you see that everything provided is the guru. So Thank you. Thank you, Guru. Thank you.
Mm. So the word listen, I walked with for 2 years. And you remember that crumbling beneath the feet we talked about when you think you know. Man, those 2 years were so epically profound, man. Like that word listen, we say the word, we think about the word, I know how to listen. I know how there's that level thing again, man. There are so many layers to aspire to when it comes to listening to ourselves, to each other, to Mother Earth, to I mean, just listening, being open to whatever beyond the earth, dare I say, to your crystals, to your pets, like to your plants, like listen and like really, 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 as Ray said, quiet the mind. And you could find such magic in the silence, man. So listening and honoring, man, that intuition happens with my partner all the time. She'll ask me because it's like she's keeping my intuition sharp. She's like, hey, what do you think of this? Or who do you think's going to do this? Or what, whether it's a TV show or we're out and about, or it's a prediction of the weather. So what do you think? Is it going to rain tomorrow? And I'm like, yes, no, like, and I love that because what she's trying to nurture in me is to what comes up, trust it, believe it. It's not a guess. It's a deep knowing.
Yeah.
Because
I to do that sometimes, second guess myself sometimes, my intuition. See, I would get that thing too when I would do psychic groups and stuff like that, and I would see somebody and something would come up and I'd be like, no, and I would just deny it because I think there was that fear of being wrong,
sure,
like being like judged. Like if I said this, like, oh yeah, like your dad was a mail carrier, and I would say like, no, so I would try to bring it up, like, I see like ladders or something, and then it'd be like, oh yeah, my dad was a mail carrier, and I'd be like, I knew that, but I didn't want to say it because I was too afraid of being wrong. So I think some of the judgment can get in the way of that.
Yeah. I fought with that one time in an airport, man. It was cut like it just kept coming up and I couldn't avoid it. I'm like, do you want to be that guy, man? And this woman was sitting at the bar and I'm like, I eventually walked up to her and I said, for whatever it's worth, don't get on that plane. I didn't want to scare her, like it's going to blow up or something like that. I never saw her face. So it wasn't like she was contemplating like life or, but she was at a bar. And sometimes we drink our sorrows away or stress or whatever. I don't know. Maybe she was headed to a business meeting. Maybe she was headed to an abusive relationship. Maybe. I don't know to this day, but it was so heavy on me and so flagrantly like, dude, you have to share this deep knowing with this woman. And I don't know if she took the advice. I don't know, yeah. But I don't normally go around town going, talk to Steve, or, don't get in the car. Right. I feel like you should give me your groceries. I don't, I'm just, but when I think there's a good way to do it and share it and stuff like that. And I think maybe the way I approached her with my hand on my heart and just the demeanor that I had, it wasn't threatening or anything like that. And, I don't know. I don't know, but
sometimes listening takes courage, I think.
Yeah.
To actually listen to a message and be with a message or tell somebody that message. And so, yeah, definitely takes courage.
I think to piggyback on the courage theme, I think it takes the most courage to sit in stillness and listen to yourself. I can't tell you how many times, through talking with friends, family, strangers, whatever, like that have asked for my opinion or advice. And I'll share, I'll be like, you should, and to that, this was shocking to me because maybe because I love it so much, but I never had resistance to it. I never went through a period of that. It just, it took me a while to find it as far as years on this earth. But when people started like cowering from this suggestion, they were terrified. And I'm like, why is this a terrifying thing? Just like sit and suck. But from what I've come to learn, it takes a lot of courage to meet yourself, to sit and have cookie and tea with your demons. invite your monsters out for lunch in a movie, man, and get, because it's you, it's all you. And by pushing those scary things away, and those voices, those conversations, as kids we're taught, don't have imaginary friends, don't, you're here, if you don't tell anyone you're hearing that, it's you, it's all aspects of you. It's just battling and tearing you apart inside to get out, just to be seen, to be heard, to be loved, to be embraced. So it's okay if it's scary. It's probably going to be, especially if you've suppressed those voices, those aspects of yourself, those inner children for so long. It might seem like, I use this term very, very loosely because it's a silly word, crazy, but crazy's good. Crazy means healthy a lot of the time. We've damned people. We've put stigmas on this word and labels that are unfair. Some of the healthiest people in our world are the ones that are considered, mentally unhealthy, according to one source, one person, one place or another. Sure, he's crazy, she's crazy. Probably the most brilliant, beautiful beings on the planet. They just have trauma to a degree. We all have trauma, but to a degree maybe far beyond you can imagine. That doesn't make them crazy. It just makes them a tightly twisted rosebud, just waiting to bloom and blossom and be the most fragrant and magnificent thing we've ever seen. Woo! I need a break. Stop.
But
wow, put the hat back on.
Crazy,
bad hair day.
Unique. And it goes back to what you're saying, that resistance to sitting. I remember back in, was it 2018? I think I did a silent retreat, a silent Jack Kornfield retreat in New York. And I had no idea it was going to be a silent retreat. I just went there because I like Jack Kornfield and I like him as a teacher a lot. I like what he says. And we get there, we're all talking, the people meeting, and the girl I'm talking to, like, oh yeah, when the bell rings, we all have to be silent. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, there's a silent 4-day retreat. I'm like, oh, I had no idea. But it was a great experience, just sitting there and not talking and not having to be a social person, a social being. And it kind of makes, so I brought mindfulness to like a lot of stuff that I would have like done and said in a social situation. Like, we see people like, oh, I'd like to talk to that person, or, oh, that girl's hot, oh, I talk to her. And, you can't really do that because you're kind of just sitting there stuck with yourself. But you could be mindful of that.
Yeah.
Of those desires and everything. And it was a great experience. And I remember telling people about it.
Yeah.
And some people were so confused and so like, wait, you just sat there and you didn't talk?
Isn't it boring?
Like, what? Oh, I would never do that.
Right.
Some people say they would never ever do that. Like, you couldn't pay me to go there and do that. And why? I could never do that. I couldn't do that for an hour. I'm like, to me, it was easy. Like, it actually is easy. I didn't want to leave. I could have stayed there.
Yeah.
It was just so peaceful and so comforting, and it was just like a weight off your shoulders. You don't have to try to.
Yeah, this world that we try to plug into, man, at least here in the states of America, it's not natural. It's designed for robots and soldiers and slaves and shit, man. Like, it's not meant for liberated human beings. It's too much pressure. It's too much pace. It's too much machines and it's too much plugging in versus unplugging. And when you're in an event or at a place that you were, as I was somewhere very different, but I had that same feeling. I didn't want to leave, not because I didn't want to get back to being a responsible citizen or human being, but because it was just so connective. It was so peaceful. It was so like, oh my God, I can feel and hear and see myself again. Like it was just such a validating experience and grounding experience too, man.
Yeah, and I know it too. When I came back, I felt like I was so open and receptive. When people did talk to me, I was used to, like, that for a while. When I was just so like open.
Yeah.
Entirely open to what they were saying, and it just felt like great. Like, I was able to connect with people and like feel that what they're saying, and like it made me more like empathic. I got that empathy, and I was able just to like just that open like, presence. Like, that's just, what you feel like, it's an open presence.
Dude, you will rewire your system just by sitting in silence and committing to unplugging from devices. Now, when I came back from my silent retreat in the forest, it inspired me to start hosting events and stuff like that. And one of those things was, we called it a device-free, noble silence walking meditation, and learned some stuff from reading Thich Nhat Hanh and stuff. His wonderful literature that's available everywhere and anywhere, really, whether book form or online form. Thich Nhat Hanh. I'll drop something down below, a link where you can find some of his stuff. But to incorporate that mindfulness, those mindfulness practices in your silence or in your meditations, and stuff like, being present while brushing your teeth and things like that, it's just really altering for me. But I think I bring this up because as you know, I'm a talker, man. And I was like, man, you talk to, people love you because you're entertaining and you want to be the center of attention and the life of the party. But you have to listen, not just to other people, but to yourself too. And how can I train, like, I use the word train myself, but how can I reprogram myself to be able to still be that fun, loving, entertaining, charismatic, vibrant person, but also know when to retreat, not cower, but take a step back and allow the other person to have the light, and to really not listen to them to respond and to still be the funny guy, but to really connect with that person and have them feel like they're seen and they're heard. And like, we're getting a deep knowing, here's our card again, of each other by the presence that we're able to offer one another, and that space of trust and groundedness that we're able to co-create together. And so for me, it was, let me host these events so I can work on me. If other people want to join, that's great. And one of the things that I did was I wrote on a card, like a business card size thing, I am practicing a noble silence. Thank you for your understanding. Have a beautiful day, or something like that, with a smiley face. So when I'd go out and do these walking meditations at a local garden or even around the city, if someone came up to me like, hey, how you doing? Or, oh, a lovely day we're having, I would simply present the card to them. And it was the few times that I had to do it, it was really cool, man. The different reactions that I got from different people. One older gentleman put his hand on his heart, and he was like, it was just like such a wonderful treat for him and I to have this exchange. He was like, oh my, well, I hope you have the best of best days then. And, and as I walked away, it was funny. He said, oh, because I put my name, John with a J, on the bottom of the card next to the smiley face, right? And he goes, I'm walking away, and he goes, hey, what was your name again? And I'm like, like, I brought him the card back, right? And he's like, oh, like, sorry. He already forgot that I was, like, practicing a noble silence. So it was hysterical and stuff. And it goes beyond too, like the people that we walked with, right? It goes beyond just talking. I told the people that we walk with, don't point to like this epic scene of an owl riding the back of a hawk, that you see taking flight from a tree, or, a snake chasing a rabbit into the brush. Like, have that experience and know that it wasn't for that person. If someone waves to you and says hi, and you don't want to use your card or whatever, just like, kind of like, close your eyes and nod your head downward in respect, but don't be like, like, hey, how you doing? Because that's internal conversation. It's not going to be insulting to that person. They'll just get that you're in a place, in a space where you're not, into interacting. You're not being rude. You're just honoring that noble silence. So it's again, a deeper listening, and through that comes that deeper knowing.
Yeah, absolutely. I got nothing else, man. So
that's it. Okay. You know what I want to do though, just to honor this book? I want to read one more message from you.
Okay.
Just to wrap it up. Then I'll do the general message, just to see if we covered everything. All right. Intuition is the faculty that allows you to enter into a dialogue with source, the consciousness that you are a part of, but cannot see with the naked eye. It's perplexing that people are taught to ignore this natural capacity to navigate their journeys, to access their inner guidance. Know that you have an ability to read between the lines and find all the truth that was missing when the story was told. This deep knowing allows you to open the door to wisdom far greater than what is available in the limitations of human experience. You're given information that may make no sense whatsoever to the logical mind or five senses, but which is 100% correct and true. Oh, I like this. The trick is to listen and then act accordingly. Now you're invited into this sacred dialogue of deep knowing. So tune in and trust your vibes. They will be right. Ask and you'll receive answers from unusual sources.
Yeah, you know, I've had messages and intuition before that I didn't follow, and man, did I pay for that. And sometimes it doesn't make sense. Like you said, it doesn't always make sense. And sometimes you're like, sometimes it's a message you don't want to know, you don't want to hear it, and it's like, oh no. Like I told you many times about a relationship I had over a year ago, and I remember we were eating Christmas dinner, and I got this premonition that a year from now we weren't going to be together. You were not going to be here next Christmas. You're not going to be together.
Yeah.
And everything in the relationship couldn't be any more perfect in my mind. And I'm thinking like, man, what's going to break us up? What could possibly break us up? I mean, we never fought, never argued. I'm like, you know, and then sure enough, you know, she was getting back with her ex, and there were certain signs there, you know, that I would see some things that like didn't make sense, and I would like question her about it, and she would just give, you know, an explanation like, oh, this is just, I couldn't help this, he came sit next to me, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
My intuition was just telling me like, dude, this is not going on. You're right. She is cheating on you. She's doing this. She is not telling the truth. She's lying. But because I was so wrapped up in my attachment to what I wanted that relationship to be, and I thought it was like, oh, we're gonna be perfect. We're gonna get married. All this stuff. Was very resistant towards my intuition, and it happened like several times where I would see something going on or something inconsistent, and my intuition would come up, and then she would give that explanation, try to explain it away, and my gut was telling me like, no, you know what's up, you know what's right, and I didn't listen to it. And then eventually when I did, that's when I kind of was like, okay, enough's enough. I finally listened to it. But if I listened to it in the beginning or sooner and really listened to it, I would have seen what she was saying was just total BS, and I would have challenged her on that, and it maybe could have saved me, you know, a lot more pain along the way. That was actually one of the biggest regrets at that relationship, was that I felt like I abandoned myself. I felt abandoned by her, but I also felt like stronger that I abandoned myself because I knew exactly what was going on. I knew it, and I just didn't listen because I was just an idiot.
So you had achieved the deep knowing, but you were resistant to it and didn't. You didn't. Yeah. It's not that you didn't believe it. What would you say it was?
I didn't want to believe it. I wanted it to be. I didn't want to believe. I wanted to believe everything was. I wanted to believe her, even though I knew she was full of it.
Yeah.
But this is how it was, because I saw her in a different light than how she really was. I was attached to seeing her as this sweetheart, innocent girl that would never ever. The girl that I thought in my mind who I had was a girl that would have never ever done that.
Right.
I was kind of trapped in an illusion.
Live and learn, Phoenix Ray, huh? Yes. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I'm sure that'll be valuable for someone out there to hear that, and they can relate and or avoid maybe some of the unnecessary pain that you had to go through. Right. And yeah, man, that ending there said, doesn't matter, and then we'll sign off, man. It doesn't matter what information comes to you, how it comes to you, what it looks like. Don't think here's that word again, crazy. Just sit with it. Let it marinate, and then take inspired action, or allow it to come to you again. Invite it to come to you again in another way. If you need a affirmation or a solid confirmation that, is this really what I'm hearing or what I'm seeing, or, whatever the message may be, and just ask for support and guidance, but don't dismiss it as this can't be it, or this isn't for me.
Right.
your inner me is trying to give you a gift.
Yeah.
So it
It
just,
may be something you don't want.
yeah,
But it's
right,
yeah.
right. And with that said, thanks for tuning into the Bodhi Bros. As always, John with a J.
Phoenix Ray.
From our hearts to yours, get out there under the sun, get out there under a tree, shoot, get out there under someone that you love, and you know what I'm talking about. We'll see you next time.
All right.
Woo!